Yesterday, we started to learn about how to calculate the volume. A to B is the range. We are thinking about the volume. When we calculate the volume, we patch it the volume of the cylinder. So the volume of the cylinder was the area, this area, times this thickness. That was delta x, so it became dx. So this is the formula for the volume. Today, we will work on the application problems, which uses that volume formula. The first problem is find the volume of the solid obtained by rotating about the x-axis. The region under the curve. Y equals square root of x from 0 to 1. So we have a graph of function y equals square root of x. In this problem, we are rotating around the x-axis. We rotate this object this way. And then the same thing will be created. And this looks like this. They're asking us to figure out the volume of this object when x ranges from 0 to 1. Then the cylinder we can draw will look like this. So this is delta x, and this is xi. So what we will do to set up the volume will be delta x, so that will be something to do with x and dx, and we have to state the x range. So it should be 0 to 1. Area of each vertical sector, dx. So integration 0 to 1. So we have to calculate this part. This part is a disk because we are rotating around the x-axis. The radius is this amount, which is y value. So radius will be y, which is defined as square root of x in this problem. And then the area of this disk equals pi r squared. Pi times xi square root of xi squared, right? So that is pi x xi, in this case, at this particular point, xi. But in general, when we state the area at x, that'll be pi times x dx. And then that'll be pi times, we integrate this. This one will be x squared over 2 from 0 to 1. So pi times 1 squared over 2 minus pi times 0 squared over 2. So that is pi over 2. This will vanish. Any question? The next problem is find the volume of the solid obtained by rotating the region bounded by y equals x cubed, y equals 8, and x equals 0 about the y-axis. In the previous problem, we rotated the object around the x-axis, but this time we rotate the object around y-axis. So y equals x cubed. So the graph look like this. And y equals 8. Let's say this is 8, and then that is horizontal line. This line is y equals 8. And x equals 0 is simply the y-axis. So this is x equals 0. We are rotating y equals x cubed around y-axis, so it'll rotate this way. So it goes this way. So the object look like this. And then this time, this is rotating this way. So this will be the bottom and the thickness will be this amount, right? So we will draw the cylinder like this. The differences between the previous one and this one is a thickness of the cylinder becomes delta y instead of delta x. So you can imagine that the established volume is from 0 to 8 y range and something goes on. So we have to figure out this disk, and that is area which depends on the y value. So a of y dy when we think about the x value, the x value is actually the radius r equals x. So x equals cubed root of y, which is y to the 1/3 power. Integration 0 to 8. So area of this disk is pi r squared. So a of y is pi r squared. That is pi times y to the 1/3 power here squared. So that becomes pi times y to the 2/3 power. Let's copy it here. Then pi times y to the 2/3 power dy. And then we have to apply the integration formula for the power function. So pi times y to the 2/3 plus 1 over 2/3 plus 1 from 0 to 8. So 2/3 plus 1, that is 2/3 plus 3 over 3 because 1 is 1 over 1. So that is 5 over 3. So that is pi times y to the 5 over 3 over 5 over 3 from 0 to 8. So we can rewrite that as pi times reciprocal of the denominator, which is 3 over 5 times y to the 5 over 3 from 0 to 8. Okay, let's evaluate. Then pi times 3 over 5, and then we plug in the number a to the 5 over 3 minus 0 to the 5 over 3. Of course, this is nothing. And we know that 8 equals 2 cubed. So we have pi times 3 over 5 times 2 cubed 5 over 3. By the power rule, we just multiply them, then 3 and 3 will cancel each other. So we have pi times 3 over 5 times 2 to the 5th power. And so this one is 32, and do your multiply it to make 96. The denominator is 5 pi. Any question? Let's do the next problem. The next problem is the region R enclosed by the curves y equals x and y equals x squared is rotated about the x-axis. Find the volume of the resulting solid. Let's visualize the situation. We have two curves. One is y equals x and the other one is parabola y equals x squared. And this straight line is y equals x. What we are doing is we are rotating around the x-axis. So we rotate this part around the x-axis like this. Then the disc will be flipped in this way. And this one will be flipped in this way. So that'll be something like this. And then when we rotate this, we will have two circles from y equals x and y equals x squared, like this. And we are rotating around x-axis, so we have to draw the cylinder horizontally, like this. Then, obviously, thickness can be described as delta x. When we do this, we have to think about delta x, which means we have to figure out the x-intercept, the intersection point with x value for x value of the two graphs intersection point. Obviously, both are passing 0, so 0, 0. And we have y equals x and y equals x squared. Then to figure out the intersection point, we have to set up an equation, x equals x squared, because their y values are the same. So x squared minus x equals 0. So x times x minus 1 equals 0. So x is x times 1. And so we just to take out the common factor. So we have x equals to 0 and 1. This value is 1. So this intersection point is 1 and 1 because it passed through y equals x. The next thing we have to figure out is this area. So we are thinking about this area, and this inner circle is y equals x squared, because this makes the inner circle. This is parabola, and the outer circle comes from the larger value, which is a straight line. So this graph, this came from y equals x, right? So the point is, when we are thinking about the radius is the y value in this case, obviously, and the y value come with an equation function of x. To calculate, so these are radius. To calculate the area of this part, that is the area of larger disk minus area of smaller disk. Area of the larger disk is pi times pi r squared. Radius is y, so pi y squared. Larger disk's equation is given with y equals x. So this can be written as y pi x squared for the area of the smaller circle. So smaller one is again pi times y squared, because y is the radius, equals pi times x squared squared. So this one equals pi times x to the 4th power. So that is pi times x squared minus pi times x to the 4th power. Let's consider the volume. The volume was delta x, x ranges from 0 to 1. So integration 0 to 1, the larger circle minus a larger disk minus smaller disk is pi x squared minus pi x to the 4th power dx. Right? So that is pi times the first one is x cubed over 3 minus second one is x to the 5th power over 5 from 0 to 1. So that is pi times 1 over 3 minus 1 over 5. If you, of course, 1 cubed is 1, 1 to the 5th power is 1, so I just wrote down 1. If you put 0 here, then those will vanish. So we will work with this. So pi times, we are thinking about the common denominator, that is 15. So 5 minus 3 over 15. So this is pi times 2 over 15. So 2 over 15 pi. So that is the answer. Any questions so far? All right. The next one is find the volume of the solid obtained by rotating the region bounded by the exponential function and 3 other straight lines. Find the volume of the solid obtained by rotating the region bounded by y equals 2 times e to the minus x, y equals 2, and x equals 4, about y equals 4. Let's visualize the situation. That will be rotated around 4, y equals 4. This horizontal line is y equals 4. And we have to think about y equals 2 times e to the minus x. Obviously, that is a decreasing function. And it passes 2 because when x equals 0, e to the 0 will make 1. So 2 times 1 will be 2. So the graph will look like this. This is y equals 2 times e to the minus x. And 1, 2, 3, 4. We are thinking about x equals 4. That is a vertical straight line. And we also think about y equals 2. The region bounded by those 3 graphs is this region. And what they're saying is we have to rotate around this horizontal axis. So to figure out the area, we have to think about the area of a circle. The circle will be formed in this way, So the radius for the inner circle equals 4 minus 2. This is y equals 4. This is y equals 2. The distance is 2. So that is 2. And this is rotated around this axis. So we think about the radius, then radius looks like this. This is the radius of outer circle. That is 4 minus this value, which is 2 times e to the minus x. So volume will be calculated. We are thinking about the cylinder, which looks like this, right? So we think about delta x. So dx, we think about the x range, then that goes from 0 to 4. So integration 0 to 4. Then area will be outer disk area minus inner disk area dx. So that is integration 0 to 4 pi times outer disk area is the radius is 4 minus 2 e to the minus x. So pi times, we will just write down r squared here, 4 minus 2 to the e to the minus x squared minus pi times inner circle's radius, which is 2, so 2 squared dx. If you forgot the formula for the expansion, then you can just FOIL. Otherwise, you can try to use the formula, which will be identical formula you can obtain by FOIL. So a minus b squared is a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. That is pi integration 0 to 4. This one squared, which is 16, minus 2 times 4 times, this is b, so 2 e to the minus x plus this one squared, so 2 squared is 4, e to the minus 2 x minus 4 dx. So here, 2 times 4 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16. So that is pi times integration 0 to 4. 16 minus 4 is 12 minus 16 e to the minus x plus 4 times e to the minus 2x dx. Any questions so far? Let's do term by term integration. Pi if you look at this, then there is a common factor that is 4. So we can rewrite that as 4 pi integration 0 to 4, 3 minus 4 e to the minus x plus e to the minus 2x dx. So that is 4 pi. And then integration 3 dx is 3x minus 4 times, you have to divide by the number in front of x to do it. We are doing substitution formula, but the original integration was e to the x. And minus, then by doing substitution, you are getting minus 1 times e to the minus x. The next one, you have to divide by this number. So it becomes minus 1 over 2 times e to the minus 2x from 0 to 4. The remaining step is just evaluating by plugging in the number. 4 pi, we evaluate at 4, 3 times 4 plus, so minus will make plus. 4 times e to the minus 4 minus 1 over 2 e to the minus 8 minus 3 open parenthesis 3 times 0 plus 4 times e to the minus 0 minus 1 over 2 e to the minus 2 times 0. So 3 times 0 is 0. And this one equals 1. And this one is 0. So this one is 1. So that becomes 4 pi times 12 minus 4 times e to the minus 4 power minus 1 over 2 e to the minus 8. This one vanishes. And then we are doing 4 minus 1/2 plus 4 minus 1/2 but there was minus, and so we have to put minus and open parenthesis here. Four is 8/2. So 8/2 over minus 1/2. So 4 pi times 12 minus 7/2 minus, I copied wrong. It was plus, right? Plus 4 times e to the minus 4 minus comes from here. No, I already copied it. So minus 1/2 e to the minus 8. So 12 is 24/2. So if we subtract 7, then that is 17. So 4 pi times 17/2 plus 4 times e to the minus 4 minus 1/2 times e to the minus 8. So that's the final answer for this question. If I start the next problem, then I will be in rush. So I will continue with similar type of the problem, which makes us rotate around the vertical line. So I will continue it next week. So if you have any question, then you can ask me. Otherwise, you can go.